back to That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so glad to have you with us on this particular edition of That Kevin Show. And every week I look forward to having sparkling guests that are lucid and insightful on all the topics that we cover. And sometimes they're just people I just genuinely appreciate, respect, and have fun hanging out with. And tonight kind of fits into all that in all those categories with my next guest. She was one of our very first guests on That Kevin Show a number of months ago, in January already of this year. Please welcome Elizabeth Pipko back to That Kevin Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You've been busy this last year. When you were last here, you were launching a brand new project that I think was unlike anything that had been launched.
Yeah, so it's been really, really great, honestly, watching the world kind of not know what to do with Kanye West's antics, let's call them, last fall, kind of left me in a place wondering how I could step in and make some kind of a difference. So knowing people that have reached out to me, just wanting to be a part of it, we actually get more submissions from people that want to volunteer and just help than people that are submitting their actual stories and content. So that's amazing. It's a really good feeling knowing people are on the right side of history on this topic that I genuinely cannot believe we're even debating in 2023. The fact that I have to prove to people that the Holocaust happened is absolutely ridiculous. But it's a digital Holocaust museum where you can actually participate in preserving the materials on the platform. So God forbid we face any kind of real censorship on this topic in the future, or anyone just kind of wants to push back on talking points like we heard from Kanye West last year. The platform exists. It's going to continue to grow. We're collaborating with different museums and organizations around the world, but hopefully it'll exist for a really long time. And hopefully the majority of the world at one point or another will have preserved at least one material from lest people forget.
Well, and I want to just point people back to that, and it's lest people forget. And I want you to go and observe it yourself, but also spread the word, because Elizabeth, what you were just saying is really important. And it's not just, I know you were inspired to do this because you ran into some young people were having a conversation with you, and it kind of opened your eyes to what they don't know. But those young people turn into adults that turn into the drivers of society. Right. And when you have in 2023, you still have whole cloth countries on planet Earth that are in denial about what happened in the Holocaust. It doesn't shock me from the standpoint of I can't believe that it's there. It shocks me from the standpoint that people are allowing it to be forgotten in the way that they have, and that there's not more people raising their hand saying we've got to do more to keep people educated on this. Obviously, one of the biggest ways that we repeat bad history is forgetting what happened before us. And this is your attempt, and a very valiant one, at trying to not allow that to happen.
Yeah, correct. It's like a weird mix of ignorance being bliss and the fact that there's this hatred in the world. Obviously, the hatred part is very, very small, and I'm hoping it remains that way or gets even smaller. But the fact that people kind of want to walk around ignorant to a history that was actually a lot more recent than most people realize, I think is impacting the younger generation more than people ever thought that it would. And I think the consequences kind of our own actions are kind of creeping up on us. And if we don't take action right now, who knows what the next generation is going to forget.
Yeah, no, I think that's well said. We're speaking with Elizabeth Pipko, model, entrepreneur, master's graduate since we last spoke. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I went to the University of Pennsylvania. They have a School of Social Policy and Practice, it's called. I did my master's last year. I think when we were talking, I was about halfway through. So I graduated in May. It's been really special. It's like we're in a very weird place in our society. I did a very big show in Las Vegas actually yesterday. And the host told me that I'm one of the few people he's had on that had a college degree. And I thought that was interesting because he has some very prominent, very famous people on across, industries, across political spectrums, everything else. So it was weird because I'll either walk into a room where people think it's like very, very special that I have this degree and they have to kind of amp it up as if it's the University of Pennsylvania and a master's. And then I'll walk into other rooms and people are confused as to why I went to school in the first place. So I think it's like a weird sense of our society went so divided on politics in kind of 2015, 2016, that they then divided on even the dumbest, smallest issues. So it's very strange. People are talking to me about it as if it's something that needs to be, again, debated or discussed. I'm really proud of it. Just a teeny tiny part of who I am and what I've done. Yeah. And I actually hope to continue on and get my JD very soon.
Well, and you're the work there in nonprofit obviously is applying directly to Lest We Forget, and there will be other applications for that as you're living your life. But you've also dabbled a lot in media since we last spoke. In fact, not my radio station, but the competitors. You seem to have a regular co-hosting gig on the morning show. Talk to me about talk radio and your experience thus far.
Yeah, are they competitors? I feel like I prefer friendly competition. I don't even know. I didn't know they were competitors.
Well, I guess technically, see, John Katzimatidis, who owns WABC, kind of figured out how to do radio through Salem. So when he left us and bought the other station, we were like, oh. It was kind of sad, but he's still on our show. He's still on our station weeknights at 5. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. Honestly, I think when I graduated, I had spent probably like 4 or 5 hours a day consistently for the last year, just studying and not paying attention as much as others were, let's say, to the world around me. So everything just kind of opened up at once. I'm trying to figure out what it is I want to do. To be honest, between the modeling and other things I've done in media, a lot of attention has been placed on the way that I look. And I cannot say how beyond sick of that I am, especially when I am studying and I do have so much to contribute, I think, apart from that. So being on radio, I think, is just like fun for me. Knowing I can sit there for 4 hours and share my opinions and no one is listening because of the way I look has been probably one of the greatest things I've gotten to discover in the last few years.
Well,
So
if you want, we can put a blurred spot right over your face for the rest of this interview if you would prefer us to do that. No, I don't think I've ever asked this question. I've had a few models on the show over the years. You've been on more than once, but it seems to me that to be a decent person in the world and to be blessed with supremely good looks is kind of like a twin. It's like twice as hard. And I don't know why that appears to be the case, but for you, do you consider your attractiveness as a blessing or a curse? Is it just something you don't even think about? Like, how do you process and deal with having the obvious good looks that you have?
I would say it's less obvious.
And I bet you've never been asked that question before.
Because people are honestly so intimidated by you, they can't even get the words out. That's why. Honestly, I don't think it's obvious good looks. It's just not the looks people expect in the rooms that I've kind of walked into, So it's strange. My husband likes to joke that I'm lucky that I was really, really, really not blessed for a very long time. So I was like bullied a lot growing up. I definitely was not blessed in the looks department. I prayed a lot for it. Like, it really took over like my youth, to be honest. So I feel like I'm still that girl deep down. I don't know why people look at me or make a big deal about certain things. Then again, this is the world we live in, and I can do something I believe to be, incredible or intellectual or just any kind of achievement out there. And when the media writes about it, they're going to use a swimsuit, photo from 5 years ago, no matter what it is that I do. So I think it's more that, and the fact that no matter what I do, it's always going to be overshadowed by what people think they should be talking about instead, than the fact that I actually look the way that I do, which I don't think impacts me very much.
That's a really honest and fair answer. We're going to take a quick break. We're back with one of my favorite people, Elizabeth Pipko. Stay right here on That Kevin Show in Times Square.
Ready or not, he'll be right back. That Kevin.